Okay, can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Right, excellent. Well,
Welcome. Thank you for being here today with us.
and thank you for inviting me. I am the director for the Laborers Apprenticeship Program. We talked a little bit with the last session with DOT about opportunities to put people to work, and this is one of those crafts that Zaina mentioned. We are the Laborers Apprenticeship. We have we and the whole goal of apprenticeship is to train people who do not have skills or experience in heavy commercial construction and bring them into a program that is very I'll say formalized, because it is very formalized in the structure of wages, how much they make, the trainings that they receive, and how they progress through this educational process. And they have a wage progression as well. And then at the end of that, they graduate, and then they become a journey worker. And the term journey worker means that they are a master of their craft. So this is a pathway for young people especially, but we have apprentices of all different ages, all the way up into the 50s. So it is a pathway for people to get into commercial construction that do not have the skills. We offer, and we're the training school, and we're the sponsor of the apprenticeship program. So the laborers actually, we do training in many different construction fields. And what do I mean by that? All the heavy highway, all the road projects you see, buildings, the big hotel that was downtown, the museum, the schools, airports, the new FedEx hangar, the Alaska cargo hangar, all of those types of things. And that includes oil and gas. We have a lot of work from Valdez Marine Terminal all the way up to the North Slope along the Trans-Alaska Pipeline. All the oil and gas exploration also has apprentices on those jobs. We have 2 training schools that serve the entire state. On the left is the Fairbanks Training School, and on the right, the Anchorage area. It's actually located in Chugiak, just north of Palmer. So when we have apprentices, we go through the whole selection, and I'll tell you the qualifications on the next slide. We select people. It's very competitive because we want to make sure we're selecting the right people who have the highest likelihood of being successful working in construction. It is physically demanding. Once they are selected, we do a 3-week training, mostly health and safety and situational awareness, get them all geared up and ready for a job, and then we place them on a construction job. They usually work the entire season. As everyone here knows, Alaska's construction season starts when the snow melts, often May, and certainly by June, and then it goes until things freeze up and you can no longer work outside. Everybody is still working right now. We're going into, the end of September, beginning of October. That shoulder season seems to be getting longer each year. So I expect people will start getting laid off middle of October, or beginning to middle of October. We do have some winter work, especially on the North Slope and along the Trans-Alaska Pipeline. Lately, the past several years, we've had incredible amounts of snow. That is also something that laborers do, snow removal. So we have been able to keep people busy throughout the year recently. So what is an apprenticeship? An apprenticeship, and I often call it construction college, it is a 3 to 4 year commitment. It's based on time. We call it OJL, on the job learning, also on the job training, but it's very depth. We add skills as people go through the program, so that on-the-job learning component is really one of the most critically important, because that's really how people learn, and that is how people get good at what they're doing. So mentorship is a huge part of it. Our existing journey workers are responsible for helping train our apprentices. The training is offered to all apprentices at no cost. Solid wages. I believe the DOT talked about their Davis-Bacon when they're federal, and a lot of the state jobs are regulated by those wages, and so those are called Davis-Bacon. So these are all Davis-Bacon, most all Davis-Bacon jobs, not all. We have some private rates and lower rates for different companies, but for the most part, they are those high wages. Endless opportunities during and after apprenticeship. If people have that desire to learn more, there is so much room for career advancement in construction, especially right now with the aging workforce. Companies are really looking for leadership. There is just a huge pathway to career advancement in construction. Degree potential after graduation, we have an articulation agreement with the university. So our apprentices, when they complete their program, they can apply for an associate in apprenticeship technology, and they will have almost 50% of their credits. They'll have to go back and get their core general ed requirements, the English, the math, the science, lab science, and those things. From there, they can go right into continuing programs if they wanted to go into project management, or there's a whole host of different degree tracks that construction companies are supporting people to go through for those leadership and career advancement positions. Apprenticeship also offers a community, and as we talked about, and I'll show you how our program works, but we are associated with the unions. We are affiliated with unions and what we call signatory contractors. Those are the big contractors that get these big jobs, and they need a workforce that is workforce ready, shovel ready sometimes is called. There's no time for total training on the job. They need to come with those skills and know what's going on. And this really provides a community. We are small right now. We have about 130 apprentices statewide. That's a pretty small group. Remember, we have 2 schools, so those are divided up into 2 communities, Fairbanks School and Anchorage. And then, of course, we have Southeast as well, and they come to these facilities for training. These apprentices not only get to know each other through training, but they work with each other on the jobs. And when you work in construction, your pathways come and go, and they continue to cross. And these are lifelong community friendships and working relations that are pretty amazing and really solid. The other big thing that apprenticeship offers is benefits. And I'll go over all the benefits that are available for these apprentices. These are the qualifications if people would like to apply for an apprenticeship. They have to be 18 years old. They have to complete their high school or GED. Now, as we reach out, and we are, as was mentioned in the previous presentation, there is a huge workforce shortage. Absolutely, construction needs more people in there. We have more projects and funding for more projects than we have people to work these jobs. So we are really reaching. One of our focuses is rural Alaska, and these construction apprenticeships allow people to go work where the work is and return to their home community. So I say that because sometimes we have these young people in their 20s and even 30s who did not complete high school or don't have a GED. I want to encourage them to apply. We are now looking at our qualifications. We encourage everyone to finish high school and GED. You need those skills. but that is not going to be a barrier. We can waive that for certain people if they meet the rest of the criteria. So I want everybody to know that we have the ability to waive that if there is somebody out there that meets the rest of the criteria. A valid driver's license, again, that is a requirement when you work construction. These contractors want you to be able to drive their company trucks. Again, for rural Alaskans, they often might not have valid Alaska driver's license when they apply for our program. Again, we will work with rural Alaskans and they do have to get it, but we understand the ability to go to motor vehicles and obtain one is not always reasonable. So we will work with the individual, their home community, their corporations, whatever. We will try to find these resources. State of Alaska also has resources. But they will need to get their driver's license once they join our program. But again, we can waive that as an entry qualification. This is really the one that's the most important. Have the physical ability to perform the duties of a construction craft laborer. This is hard physical work. We train for safety so that people don't get hurt. It is, but we want to make sure that people understand what they're signing up for. So that is one of the really big criteria to getting into our program. Ability to travel throughout the state to various construction sites. And this is because construction is where the projects are, and that is very rarely outside your front door. So if it is outside your front door, we certainly try to get those apprentices on that job. But often you have to travel to do these big projects, road projects, and all these things. We are a drug-free program, and we do a drug test when people are accepted into our program. And that the reason we do that is because every single job that they will be placed on requires a pre-hire drug test. So it's just the way the construction world works, and people need to be drug-free. This is a UA, a urine test now. And for those who have been around, it was a much higher bar. It was a hair follicle drug test, which required you to be drug-free for 5 to up to 6 months. The drug-free bar now is the UA, and that is a 30-day look back. So people do have a chance when they apply. Often there is at least 30 days between the time they're applying and the time they get accepted and will be drug tested. So that offers individuals an opportunity to really decide if this is what they want and make sure they meet those qualifications. Have reliable transportation. That is required because you have to be able to get to work. We start early, and in the summer we work long hours. Again, we work with rural Alaskans, and if there are jobs that provide housing, we would try to put people in a place to succeed. Who is this apprenticeship for? It is hard work. It's for people who like working outside in all kinds of weather. It's for people who are interested in gaining skills and knowledge, which equals the next statement: you want to make a good living. It is a high wage, very good benefit program, and they're all related. You want benefits for you and your family, and then also continuous work opportunities. Like I spoke before, there is so many opportunities for career advancement. So often people don't understand how unions work. And I just thought this is a really important thing for people to understand. How does this work? And how are we as a training school funded to bring in all these people and do all this amazing training, have all this equipment, these amazing facilities? And we are not a publicly funded entity. We are privately funded. We are a result of a negotiated agreement between the union hall, who provides the workforce, and the union contractors or signatory contractors who bid these jobs. And these are big commercial jobs. These are small jobs are $500,000. Large jobs, I mean, we have some that are over $200 million jobs going on, like on the base, and we're going to have the Port of Nome and this new hospital in Sitka, huge jobs. And then, of course, all the road construction that you see going on throughout the state. Those two entities partner together and have an agreement between them to provide a trained workforce for all the jobs that are out there throughout Alaska, to build Alaska. In that, this is just for the laborers. All the unions are very similar, but the laborers have 4 benefits that both the union and the contractors have agreed are incredibly important to create a stable, safe workforce that will come back and work year after year after year and become masters at what they do. That helps contractors be successful, finish projects on time with low injuries and a good safety record. And those 4 benefits are training, which is what we are, healthcare, which is incredibly important. And right now I can tell you that the laborers have one of the best healthcare programs out there, pension. And we can talk a little bit more about pension. That is a benefit that has gone away throughout most of America. Construction unions are one of the last few places that have these strong benefits, and they are incredibly important when people no longer work. And the laborers also have a legal benefit. So all the people that work, union contractors, have access to legal counsel, and that also is a huge benefit for many, many people who, especially having help navigating the legal system. Is there additional costs? There is. The training is free. Getting into the program is free. We mentor people. We do all these things. There is an initiation fee at the Union Hall. It is about $500. Students do not have to have the money right up front to pay that off. That is kind of written into when they are placed on a job and they go to work and start making money. We have an agreement that they will pay that off. And usually it's $100 or less out of their check that they're making, anywhere from $900 to $1,500 per week. So they pay that off over time. And then their monthly union dues, which right now are $40 a month, they also have to pay that. Work gear, they do need construction work gear. There are programs that we connect our apprentices with that help initial apprentices obtain their work gear when they first become construction workers, because that is a big cost. They have to have the right kind of boots and rain gear and heavy warm gear. So we do connect them with other funding sources that can help cover those costs. Training certificates. During the apprenticeship, there is very few requirements for money that they would have to pay for their certificates. Once they journey out, there is licensing that, depending on what type of work you do, mostly environmental, there are $100 fees that they have to pay the state of Alaska for their license for things like hazardous paint or asbestos abatement. And those will be costs that the individual will have to pay. This is a little snapshot on how our benefits work. So they come into the program and they have a wait period before their health care kicks in. At 360 hours of working, their initial medical kicks in, and they also have the life and accidental death and dismemberment, the weekly accident and sickness. When they get 600 to 1200, the vision and audio kick in. Now, apprentices normally work about at least 1,000 hours per season. So most all of our apprentices right now at the end of September, they all have had their medical, vision, and audio has been kicked in for probably a month or two. After 1,200 hours, which most of them are getting because we have this extended season now going on, then dental also kicks in. Just a little bit about the retirement. I can't tell you how important this is. When we have young people, and I know we had someone say, well, apprentices, non-union get paid more. Absolutely they do, because it's a required payment by the federal government for pass-through monies. They must pay people at this level. And when they're non-union, that money goes to people on the check. Young people, when you get 18-year-old and 20-year-olds, they'd rather have the money on the check, and they spend every nickel of it. They don't have health care. They don't have a retirement. I work with a guy who started in construction when he was 18 years old. He's 47 years old now, not retired, working, actively working. And right now, if he retired, which he doesn't qualify for, he would get $5,100 per month in retirement. He continues to add to his retirement. It is based on how many hours you work. So it is a huge thing that many of our retirees would not be able to make it not working, and Social Security just doesn't cut it. So this has been a huge, important part. Our young people don't know what they need when they become 67 years old. This is their insurance policy for after they stop working. The types of work that laborers do. We mentioned some of the highway, heavy civil, pipeline and utility. It's all the water, sewer, and stormwater drains throughout all of our communities. Scaffold building, associated with buildings and pipeline construction, concrete placement, building construction, grade checking, which is surveying for a construction site. Environmental work, that's the hazardous waste, asbestos abatement, lead abatement, things like that. Drilling and blasting, that is one trait that we are really pushing and training. Again, most of our drillers and blasters are 60 years old and older. We have an aging workforce. We desperately need to get young people into these trades and get them trained up. In traffic control. How to apply. There is our website has everything. Our applications are all online. People can do it from their phones. There are some documents that we need, and we also have on our website a secure way to upload these needed documents. We accept applications year round, and I would encourage people to apply, because you never know what's going to happen. And if we need people, the people we call are the people we have applications for. This year, we are going to have we have a deadline for our Fairbanks school in December, right before Christmas break. And we're going to bring people in January. There's going to be a lot of work up on the North Slope this year, and we desperately need more people to go work up north. So if you know anybody in the northern part that is interested in that, have them apply. Then both schools will have intakes again in February, and then again the end of March, April. So we will be starting to really bring people in throughout that after Christmas to the springtime. Last year, we doubled our apprentice intake. This year, we are going to double it again. So you can see the need. There is that much work out there. So we are really looking for those right people. We want to put all of our Alaskans to work. We do not want companies to have to go outside to Seattle and other areas and recruit workers to come to Alaska to take these jobs. We want to make sure we give these opportunities to our Alaskan young people. Steps of the apprenticeship. They come in, they do what we call general construction training. They get their first dispatch, and they start working. We call that stage one, up to 1,000 hours. We get an evaluation once a month. We work with the contractor. They're being mentored. Are they progressing and learning? If the answer is yes, they get a good evaluation. They go to stage two. Here, they get a 10% wage increase for stage two. They work another 1,500 hours, again, monthly evaluations. They're required to go to apprenticeship meetings and union meetings. And once they hit 2,500 hours to 4,000 hours, they become stage 3, another 10% wage increase. Every winter, they're at the training school, mandatory training, about a month's worth of training each winter, while most people are not working. Stage 5 is 4,000 hours to 5,100 hours, another 10% wage increase. And then they journey out, and then they can continue their professional growth at opportunities like I talked about, with either with their job or the university with the degrees, or just continual training. We have a lot of technical training, so the more technical jobs that you can do, the higher wages you get paid. For instance, the grade checker, that's surveying for construction sites, grade checkers get paid $47 an hour. Here's our wages, our current wages for new apprentices coming into our program. Stage 1, brand new, doesn't know anything, has no experience. We give them 3 weeks of training. They begin making $25.20 an hour on their check. In addition to that, they are also receiving $32.86 in benefits. Those are benefits that the contractor pays for those 4 benefits that we talked about: training, pension, healthcare, and legal. Most of our apprentices work a lot of hours. 60 hours a week is normal for apprenticeship. Sometimes people are working 70 hours. Every hour over 40 hours per week is time and a half. So you can see those checks really add up quickly. Now, we only work part of the year, so personal finance is another thing that we teach at the training school, is how to manage their money, which is really critically important when you start working and making money like this in short periods of time throughout the year. Currently, when you finish and you journey out, $36 an hour plus another $32.86 in benefits is the going wage for a journey worker. Like I said, the more technical skills you have, the higher your wage. Pipe layers make $42 and something an hour. Grade checkers make $47 and something an hour. So there's a lot of mobility for increased wages. I know we're at 10 o'clock, so I'm just going to go through some of these pictures really quick. These are just job site pictures of the types of work that laborers are doing. It's a great way to see Alaska. A lot of our jobs are in rural Alaska. I think this one in the middle here, bottom center, is from the Thompson Pass area. We had several jobs up there, drilling and blasting. Huge multi-plates is what we call this, underneath the highway. So you're digging down and doing that, learning how to do concrete placement. On the left is pipelining. Here's the contact information. And if anybody has any young people that are interested, please send them our way. It's a great opportunity. We change lives. We have taken people that have literally been homeless, and by the time they finished our program, they not only have their own vehicle, but they have been able to have enough money to purchase their own homes. So it is a way to change lives and give people enough money that they can support a family and continue working. And I'd be happy to take any questions.
Suzanne, thank you so much. So yes, we had a couple of questions pop up in the chat box. Can you see them?
Yes, let me just get back to that. Okay, let's see. I don't know. Okay, you put, what is your criteria to be selected for the program, and is it different for rural areas versus local? I'm going to say yes, because we are really focused on rural Alaska. Our process right now is you apply for the program. You have to have all your required paperwork is the first thing. Once you're finished with paperwork, we bring you in for what we call field challenge. We make you show us that you have the physical ability to do the work of the labor. And that means we have some pretty arduous exercises you do. We have you dig a trench to make sure you know how to dig. We have you shovel and wheelbarrow a pile of sand from here to over there. Carry cinder blocks from here and stack them over there so that you are physically, that is really difficult to do when you're in rural Alaska. We do offer, and the next stage is interviews, and we can do those by Zoom. So we will work with rural Alaska areas to figure that out. And I'm the person to contact, because we will do everything we can. We need to build up our construction workforce in rural areas because that's where a lot of our work is. So we are committed to doing that. How long is the program? Is there a bunkhouse to stay on? Thank you so much for asking that. Yes, our program is 3 to 4 years. You have to have that 5,100 hours of on-the-job learning. So that is our benchmark there. And yes, at our training school in Chugiak has dormitories to stay. Our Southeast apprentices come and they stay there often for a month. And once they're in the program, we support you. We will buy your plane ticket. We put you in our dorms. We house you. There's food there every day. So we support our laborers in getting their training so that our job is to help you succeed. Everybody wins. The individual obviously wins. The unions win because they're developing a skilled workforce, and our contractors win because they need a steady workforce that'll be there year after year that gets better. So, and the state of Alaska wins because we have all this construction infrastructure. So everybody wins. And that is the beauty of this union program, because they actually fund it. Let's see, what kind of associates did you say? Something about technology and college affiliated? Yes, we have an articulation agreement with the university, and they can get an associate's degree when they complete the apprenticeship program. We continue to work with both UAA and UAF on this, and we want people to continue their education. It's a choice that apprentices make, and if apprentices do, we help support them in transferring their credits and helping them get kick-started in that pathway for career advancement. Lucy, I would definitely love to meet with you. I am going to write this stuff down when I finish. If not, please, Dominica, could you put my email in there? And if you would shoot me an email, I would love to meet with you. And I know that is a demographic that I really had looked at our recent demographics and said we need to really tap into the whole Polynesian community. So thank you so much for that.
Unfortunately, I don't think we saw the question from Lucy, but yes, of course, I will share the.
What is the question?
We didn't see. I think Lucy sent you the message only to you.
Oh, that is for. Oh, that's directly to me. Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. Minimum age is 18, and that is, we kind of go back and forth. There are pre-apprenticeship programs that you can be part of prior to 18, but we can't put people to work before they're 18. So we 18 is the age for entering them into our apprenticeship program. And there is an updated flyer, and we will get that out. I don't have that with me right this second, but we will get it out, and I'll get that to Dominica, and you can get that out to everyone.
Thank you so much. I'm putting your contact information. Let me know if I got it right. We got another question from Noel, who by accident sent it directly to me. Since we get construction companies coming to the villages, which companies are in this program?
It would be the union contractors. And, you know, if people want to contact me, I can find out things. I don't know all that information right off because it's the union halls who send people there. I only send the apprentices. I know there are many both union and non-union contractors that work throughout Alaska. And our apprentices have to be on those union jobs because part of our program is that mentorship. And so therefore they must work under a journey worker who can train them, and we can measure that and evaluate that. And that's part of our program. We're under the U.S. Department of Labor. So our apprenticeship is a federally registered apprenticeship program under the U.S. Department of Labor. So we have real specific standards that guide how we train, how we teach, how we do our on-the-job learning. We're not just throwing people out to work and saying good luck. There's actually a real process where we develop their knowledge, and we develop them in all different segments of construction, so that if one part of construction gets defunded, for instance, during the last recession, buildings really took a nosedive. And if that's all you knew was building construction, you don't have the skills to transfer over to highway heavy civil construction or oil and gas. So we really try to train all of our apprentices in every segment of construction so that they're versatile and they can go anywhere. Then they can choose what they like doing and what fits their lifestyle needs after they journey out of the program.
Thank you. There's one last question, I believe, unless you have answered it, from Catherine. What jobs do journeymen typically do in the winter if they need income, plowing, other opportunities? Yes.
Yes, and you know, this is one, I guess you could say, drawback of construction is in the winter in Alaska, a lot of our construction stops. Often our people are making probably better wages, annual wages, in that short period of time than we do working full time. I know I worked for the university for 20 years. My husband worked construction. He'd blow my annual salary away in 3 months. But you have to do money management. However, if you're in the northern part of the state, there is a lot of winter work, and that is up on the North Slope and along the Trans-Alaska Pipeline. Much of that work happens in the winter because the ground has to be frozen. And yes, we do snow removal. So the last several years, snow removal in Valdez at the marine pipeline, the Valdez Marine Terminal, has been huge. We've put many people to work. And throughout Anchorage, at the hospitals, on the federal properties, the snow has just been so overwhelming that we've kept people busy, pretty busy during the winter time as well. There is not as much work in the winter as there is in the summer in construction. And we try to help people find work, and sometimes it's not work through unions or the apprenticeship, and they go back to whatever they were doing before, whether that was working at Lowe's or, you know, doing whatever else they need to do in the winter to kind of get by to continue their work.
Wonderful. Thank you. I think that's all for the questions in the chat box. So I really appreciate your time, Suzanne, today. Thank you so much. And I hope you'll get all the apprentice vacancies filled in.
Yes, I mean, we're going to hire a lot of people, and there is a lot of money out there that for projects coming to our state, and we really want Alaskans to have 100% of those jobs. So send your young people this way if this is what they want to do, because you have to want to do this.
Right. Thank you so much, Suzanne. Have a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Are you able to send flyers?
I'm going to send a flyer to Dominica, and she'll get it out to everyone. I'm actually on the road right now. I'm not in the office, so I don't have access to that, but I will get that out, and with the deadline dates, because I believe we have those deadline dates as well.
Perfect. Thank you. We'll get in touch, Suzanne. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.